Another cool thing in After Effects are layer styles. I quickly created this composition with a background solid white layer, a teal rectangle, and then this text layer on top. You can add layer styles to any layer, even shapes or images or video. Just right click the layer, go to layer styles, and you can see the different layer styles. So you've got your traditional drop shadow, which is cool. And when you do that, if you open up your layer, you'll see that there's this new layer styles panel or option down here. Drop that down, you see the different layer styles you've applied because you can apply multiple. Drop it down and you have the different options. So with the drop shadow, we can play with opacity. We could play with the distance from the letters. We can play with the spread, the size, the angle, all kinds of things. And we can also animate this kind of stuff. So if we want to animate the distance, let's set a keyframe there. Actually, let's move this keyframe to the end of where we're at. Then let's move it a little bit further away and we create that other keyframe. Now, if we play through this, you get this sort of cool shadow effect. We can apply different effects to the shape layer itself. So right click that, layer styles. Let's do a bevel and emboss. So you get this sort of beveled look around the edges. And we can go into our bevel and emboss settings, play with the size. So if we want the beveling to be a little bit bigger, we could also change the angle of the shadow, which is kind of cool. Again, creating this sort of 3D effect. Now, this is, you got to go back to your graphic design principles. This doesn't look terribly good, but you can see all the kind of cool things that you can do with all of these effects. The ones that I really like are the drop shadow. I still use drop shadows sometimes. And then also inner shadow is pretty cool too. So let me delete the drop shadow. Let me show you what inner shadow does. Inner shadow, and it creates this sort of cutout look. So it looks like these letters are being cut out from the background. And that's because the text color itself is the same as the background color. If I change the text color of this character to something different, it doesn't really give that sort of look, but it's because the background and the text is the same color. You can also add a gradient overlay. So go to Layer Styles, Gradient Overlay. Let's go into our Gradient Overlay menu. And then here we can change the colors by clicking Edit Gradient. So here we have our gradient editor. And the way that this works is that you choose your colors and you put stops. So here we have white and black. You can see the bottom is white, the top is black. So if we want it to go from maybe sort of like a red to a blue, we can do something like that. And then we change the way that the gradient looks down in this menu. So we can change the angle if we want. We can change the style from linear to radial, for example. And then we'll go back to the angle and play around with that a little bit more of an actual gradient. And so you can see you can do lots of things with layer styles. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I think it's best for you to go through them yourself. But if you have questions about any of them, don't hesitate to post a question in the course at all. Stroke is another one, color overlay. These are all great effects or layer styles that you can use.